Okay, so I never thought I was going to be recording a podcast like about this topic because I'm just like I'm so like head down about like natural healing. But obviously, I know what GLP-1s are. I know that so many people are taking them. Like I'm so fully aware of all of that, but I have no interest in like talking about that stuff because it's just like not a solution in my eyes. And so the reason why I am talking about this today though is because one of my clients in 4 weeks of Boosted Fertility, we were on a call and she was asking me about this. And I'm like, okay, I know if you are thinking about this, there are other women who are also thinking about this. And it was just a conversation that I think is really powerful to have, especially in this day and age when GLP-1s are just like, for everything, let's just do this and like it'll be the answer to everything. So that's why I want to bring this conversation to you right now. And for context, so me and this client were working together in this small group of 4 weeks Boost Fertility for, obviously, as it's in the name of the title or the program name, whatever, 4 weeks. And so this was at the end of the 4 weeks. And she was saying to me, she's like, okay, well, first of all, let's like talk about the wins that she experienced. She has more energy. She has less negative and low moods. She has slower facial hair growth coming in. She had some weight and inflammation loss, which is amazing. But on the call, she was like, I recently got blood work done and it did show that my glucose levels were still, pretty high. Like her glucose or insulin was pretty high and her testosterone levels were still high, which if your glucose and your insulin like levels are off, if your blood sugar is dysregulated and you are struggling with insulin resistance, it is going to increase your testosterone levels because when that happens, and this is very common for people who have PCOS, but this doesn't have to be people who have PCOS. This could happen with a lot of people who don't even have PCOS can struggle with these blood sugar dysregulation symptoms. But when your blood sugar is dysregulated, when you're insulin resistant, it causes your ovaries to produce more testosterone. So it makes complete sense why her testosterone levels were also higher because her insulin and her glucose are also off, right? So that totally made sense why that was happening. However, when she was saying that, she's like, I was on GLP-1s, I think she said I think it was less than a year ago. I can't remember the exact timeline, but I'm pretty sure it was less than a year ago. She was like, I felt like the best I had felt on the GLP-1. She's like, and that was like the only thing that has really helped with my blood sugar was being on GLP-1. She's like, so, do you think like it's just a time thing? Like I should just wait things out? Do you think there's a time and place for me like going on the GLP-1s? Like, cause she's considering it, right? She wants to get pregnant. She's considering it. And, of course, doctors are like, well, you can go on the GLP-1 to help with your blood sugar regulation, and that's going to help you get pregnant, right? These are things that they'll tell you. And so my answer is very clear, cut and dry, which I'm sure you could guess what it is if you've been listening to this podcast for a second. But I have an explanation to it, right? And also, I, of course, started this like answering her. I was like, well, first and foremost, like, of course, this decision is up to you. And I do believe there is a time and place for certain medications. Like, I'm never going to say that there's not certain medications for anxiety, for depression, for, thyroid, whatever. There's always a time and place, but it needs to be something that's paired with a long-term solution for getting off of the medication and for healing whatever issues going on long-term, like in the root cause of it, right? So obviously I was like, that's your decision, whatever you want to do. However, if you're asking me what I would do, I would say, no, I would not do that. And here's why. Because maybe when you were on the GLP-1s, your blood sugar was regulated and you felt better, right? But when you stopped it, that wasn't the case, right? It didn't cure your blood sugar dysregulation because the patterns and the habits in your nutrition, your lifestyle, your stress levels, all these things that add to your dysregulated blood sugar was not healed, was not changed. It was just, okay, we took a medication and that quote unquote fixed it for the moment. But when we stop the medication, the problem comes back. And so, yeah, maybe that could help you actually get pregnant, but the goal is not to just get pregnant. The goal is to get pregnant, to have a healthy pregnancy, to feel the best we could possibly feel during pregnancy, and to have an easier time postpartum. And if you are, and of course, you're not going to want to be on this medication when you're pregnant, right? Like, I mean, I shouldn't say of course, because there's some people who, of course, take medications when they're pregnant. And I'm not telling you to stop medication if you're pregnant, like, the vibe. But, obviously, you ideally don't want to be on medications when you're pregnant. So if you don't want to be on medications when you're pregnant, this isn't, and it's not like a medical need or whatever, right? This is not like a necessity for her to go on this. I would not recommend doing it just to get pregnant because if your blood glucose levels and your insulin levels are off, and you need the GLP-1 to actually regulate it because you're not doing, getting deep enough into the nutrition lifestyle work to actually heal it, then once you are pregnant and you're not on the GLP-1, you're going to increase your chances of gestational diabetes, because that's just like in and of itself, especially if you do have PCOS, that is going to, your chances of gestational diabetes increases. But obviously this happens for people who don't have diabetes, don't have PCOS all the time. So your chances of that are now going to be increased because you didn't actually naturally regulate your blood sugar prior to pregnancy, and now you're off the GLP-1 and now it's going to come back, right? So it's not a root cause solution. And if you don't want to be on medication when you're pregnant, you don't want to increase your chance of gestational diabetes because you didn't actually learn how to heal the root cause of the blood sugar dysregulation prior to it, then it's really not like, it's not a solution, right? And I understand the the want to do it because it's just like, oh, but I know it's going to quote unquote work right away, right? Because quote unquote work right away, where you maybe feel better because it automatically fixes your blood glucose levels, but it's not a long-term solution. And it takes a specific kind of like grit and resilience and determination to really stay on a root cause healing path, because it's not overnight. It is not overnight. Things can change quickly. Like, for example, literally in 4 weeks, she's already experiencing more energy, less negative and low moods, lower facial hair growth, some weight and inflammation loss, which all of that are signs that things are improving, right? But it's just not that immediate shift that maybe you would feel if you started medication, right? Depending on what the medication is. So it does take time, but it could obviously take a lot less time when you have a specific plan in front of you of exactly what to do, which is why she experienced these changes rather quickly. And so it is something, and she was someone who also joined Balance Your Blood Sugar back few months before, like months before 4 weeks of Boosted Fertility. And so now I'm like, okay, and she saw a change with that. Obviously things were so improved from that, but now it's time if we go deeper. So I gave her, so the recommendations, I was like, okay, recommendations of like supplements that are really supportive for blood glucose is what I would recommend you try first, on top of obviously continuously doing everything that I taught you in Balance Your Blood Sugar, in the Mind Your Hormones method, everything we learned in 4 weeks Boosted Fertility, right? Because we've worked together for, through all these programs now. So it's like, let's get consistent with this for at least 3 months, add in these additional supplements that are going to help with your blood sugar regulation, get retested again, and then see where you're at. And obviously up to you what you want to do with it. But if you're asking me what I would do, this is how I would approach it. And this is exactly how I would approach it. And that's obviously exactly what I told her, because I'm not your mentor that's just going to say like, oh yeah, if you want to do that, do it. Like whatever you think is best. Of course I'll say that, like it's your decision, it's your body, but everything is best. But I'm going to actually tell you what I would do and why, and the path to get there, right? Because I'm not just going to like blow smoke up your ass. You know what I mean? So anyway, the additional supplements I told her to take, but before I even say that, don't get it motherfucking twisted. If you are not doing the work required in your nutrition, in your lifestyle, and in your supplementation, like baseline supplementation, to actually regulate your blood sugar, do not just take these additional supplements and think anything is going to change, because it won't. Okay. The most important thing for your blood sugar regulation, which if you have dysregulated blood sugar, by the way, symptoms you'll experience could be cravings, 3 p.m. crash, headaches, hangry between meals, an irregular cycle, fertility issues, brain fog, shaky in between meals, sleep disturbances, like all of this can be, PMS even, can be connected to blood sugar dysregulation. I have never worked with a client who was trying to conceive that didn't have some form of blood sugar dysregulation. Diabetes aside, PCOS aside, it doesn't matter, okay? Your fertility cannot and will not improve until your blood sugar is regulated. I will scream this from the mountaintops as much as I have to until it is something that is prioritized. And just you saying, oh, I eat healthier, I eat clean, does not matter. That's great, right? I'm glad you're not having fast food all the time, and I'm glad you're eating mostly whole foods. But if you're not doing it in a blood sugar regulated way, it doesn't, not that it doesn't matter, but it's not going to support you in the way that it needs to support you, right? You've taken the first step of eating healthy. Amazing. Now we need to actually support your fertility way further by regulating your blood sugar. And that does not mean cutting out carbs. It doesn't mean cutting out sugar. That's not the vibe around here. Okay. So that is what's first and foremost most important. Balancing your blood sugar with your nutrition, your lifestyle, and even your emotions. We talk about that in the Balance Your Blood Sugar program as well. and your foundational supplementation. Okay, all of that could be in my bundle. You can find that in my bundle, the Your Body is Designed to Heal bundle, which is the Balance Your Blood Sugar program and my supplement masterclass. By the way, I should have started the episode with this. I'm on my walking pad again, so I'm a little out of breath if you notice or you hear it, okay? Anyway, that's the Your Body is Designed to Heal bundle. But literally, if you don't know where to start, that is where you need to start. It's going to be so transformational for you. The link for that will always be in the show notes. Now, the additional things I told her to take are Organic Olivia's glucose bitters. I love Organic Olivia's formulations. They're really awesome. I trust them. Third-party tested, like really pure. I absolutely love them. I don't have a code or anything for you, but I'll put the link in the show notes for that. So glucose bitters and Inositol, like Myo and D-Chiro Inositol, either by Ovasitol or Bodyology. Those are the two brands I recommend. There have been so many studies that show that Ovasitol, like Inositol and D-Chiro and D-Chiro and Myo Inositol have been better supported for blood sugar regulation than metformin, which is a very common medication that people who have PCOS are recommended. So those are two additional things I told her to do on top of all the other things, okay? But I wanted to make this conversation to you in case it's something you are wondering about, you are struggling with, and really just like my honest opinion about it, because you're in it to win it. You're here to feel it. You're here to get down to the root cause of the problem. And the GLP-1s are just not going to do it for you, right? We need to have a root cause solution. We need to support the system in your body that actually affect all your hormones. And, that's obviously the Mind Your Hormones method, balance your blood sugar, all the things we do around here. So when you're ready, I got you. But I love you so much. I hope this is helpful and giving you some clarity and just some yes, I could do this. Like, we're in it for the long haul. And it's going to support you for the rest of your life, not a quick hit, right? Okay, I love you so much. That is it. I will talk to you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.